Alright guys, Simon here and welcome to Trees. Well, more precisely, welcome to Minecraft Design School, and today we are looking at a map by ReaversPistol. Let's not look at trees. In fact, there's a sign on the ground there. Why is there a sign on the ground? I hope it didn't destroy anything. Anyway, so trees and a path. Let me just fly up a little bit. Ah, there we go. So he started us at the beginning of the path. So he's intending for us to walk that way. Let me just... Why are there... okay, there's tree blocks sitting around. There's a castle here. That's interesting. I think he means for us... Oh, that's not just the house. I think he means for us to walk that way and not this way. So I'm just gonna stand up here, or fly up here. And let me just read you what he has written, because it's probably useful if we look at that first. He says, essentially, I've been working on a city design so it has the things you would expect: middle, upper and lower class districts. I have been working on it on and off for about a month, and it has shops, a school, houses, streets, roads, docks, a city hall, a mayor's house, and essentially things like that. So he's building a city, right? Okay. Do you think the districts are laid out well, and do the structures match the class they belong to? Maybe I should just walk through. Okay, well I read it, so I might as well finish. I marked the building with signs of what they are, but some of them are essentially clones of others with different materials, and some are work in progress. I've done a lot of terraforming where the city is located, and I think its position next to a river is strategic to trade and commerce. Yes, that usually is true. One big problem I've been having with different builds, however, is the streets start to get very compact and hard to distribute equally throughout the city. Yes, I was wondering if there were some suggestions to help with that, and I ran out of roof and house designs and can't think of any new ones. That's why there are lots of repeats. Well, I mean, if you need more ideas, just go into Google image search and just look up stuff. I mean, if you think you've run out of ideas, just look up stuff, and usually that helps a lot. Like, look at a city, or like, Google Street View, go look at a city that you think looks good, and then just look at things closely, just to get more ideas. I mean, it's difficult for anyone, even, me, even any experienced designer. You try to design 100 houses, you're gonna run out of ideas after a while, so just research. That usually helps. Generally, I think it's an alright city, but there are individual flaws that I need to work on. What do you think I did well, and what should do differently next time? Yeah, Reavers, he's not really... Okay, I mean, he's not asking very specific things. He's kind of like, is this okay? I'm not sure what's going on. It's, part of the test is if you can figure out what the problem is, or if you think you have problems, to articulate that yourself, because that's a skill as well. So that's why I ask you guys to to actually be specific about your questions and all that, and explain what you're doing. I mean, that's actually part of what helps you figure out what's wrong, is you articulating specifically what's wrong. But I mean, he's got a big city here, and he hasn't really kind of articulated exactly what he thinks is wrong. The city is beyond this bridge. Yeah. So let's see how this goes. Houses? The houses I've seen better. The details are a little odd. Like, the roofs don't have overhangs. There's no implied structure. There's stone and timber. It's like there's timber there, but not there. Look at pictures of houses, and don't just don't just casually look at them, but look closely and look very carefully at pictures of houses, and see if you can figure out why each part of, or just any building, why each part of the building is like that, or why each part of the house is like that. Why is a roof a particular shape? Why is a column in a particular position? Why are windows a particular shape? So just try to figure that out. Because just looking at that, just looking at these buildings, there are certain things. I mean, it's not easy, and it's not your fault, right? Obviously, it's everybody learns, and I learn as well. What I'm trying to say is, what I'm seeing here demonstrates that you don't understand buildings all that well. Like you see shapes of buildings, but you're not thinking about why they are particular shapes. And so when you reproduce these shapes, you're missing some key details, and you're missing some detailing that makes it look a bit odd. Mostly here there's no overhang. That's the main problem that I'm seeing here, but also just the way the materials are arranged. You know, if it's a cobble base, then why is the cobble around the door as well? And then the bricks, and there's no windows and things like that. What building is this? Let me just see this. Vacant warehouse used to be specified. I mean, warehouses usually don't have that many windows, but you know, usually there'll be like a window up here. Let me just go inside and see what's... Like if you go in to Google image search, yeah, like there's no... Why would there not be windows up there to let the light in? Like if you go into Google image search and look, and just type in warehouse, and then look at the picture. Let me just do that right now and see what we see. Warehouse, and really, every time I do this, I'm kind of inviting you guys to do the same. Just go get a browser, type in warehouse into Google, yeah, and just look at it. I mean, you've got the big empty space in the middle, which all warehouses have, but then just like the second image from even the first one, there's windows in the roof, and then the second one there's windows around the roof, because natural light is cheaper than electric lights. You know, like if you have natural light, you don't need electric lights as much, and so it's cheaper, right? So, you know, when you just look up a warehouse, why is there a chicken? You just look up a picture of a warehouse. Like there are reasons for certain things, and also this structure is really unusual because there's a lot of weight here in the walls and the ceiling and the roof is cobblestone as well, which is strange again. Like, why is there a cobblestone roof? Usually that's not stone. But if we assume that the materials aren't realistic, but still this structure, like there's a lot of weight on the walls, and then the structure kind of bends here, and then the weight sits on there as well. So what happens is that's pushing down, and then there's nothing like, let me just, like all of this weight here is pushing straight down, and there's no column here to push back up, and there's the same in that corner and the whole edge there. And so structurally it's a bit odd as well. So I mean, you've got a vague building shape here, but it's very evident that you don't understand buildings. And again, you know, not your fault, because everybody has to learn these things. You're not born with an innate knowledge of how buildings work. What I'm saying is, if you learn more about how buildings work and why buildings are built in certain ways, then you will be able to build more convincing buildings in Minecraft as well. And that would make your buildings more interesting. If you look at them and they actually look like real buildings. So just do more research. I mean, I don't know if you're interested in this sort of stuff, just going into Google and typing things in like building structure, and just reading and looking at the pictures and learning more about how things work. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, this is kind of, it sounds like homework, right? But if you're interested, it shouldn't be too much of a chore, I don't think. And here, like the outside path, it's exactly the same as the inside floor. That's really unusual, and like having that at the same level, that's really unusual. I mean, these are little details that you would find in real buildings that make sense, because like you don't want the inside floor to be the same level as the outside street, because if it rains, I mean, in the real world, if it rains outside, then the water would just pour in because it's the same level. So usually the inside floor would be raised a little bit in comparison to the street outside, so that the water don't flow inwards, it flows outwards because it's higher up and things like that. And you know, you don't have timber streets outside usually because timber rots. You should have you have stone, or you know, these days you have tarmac, or you know, tar sealed roads, because they last a long time. And whereas you know, timber would just get, you know, just rot away or get eroded away quite quickly. So it's things like that, like when you look at, maybe, I mean, if you don't think about it, maybe it's not obvious. I think most people, when they look at it, they'll feel that something's a little bit off. Like if they look at the building, they'll feel that, you know, it looks a little bit strange, but they can't put their finger on exactly what it is. So, you know, as a designer, or as someone who wants to be better at designing, then what you need to do is you need to be able to identify what exactly is wrong, or what exactly you can improve. So that's basically the challenge, right? That's the difference between someone who's just building stuff and someone who is you know, is thinking about design and designing on purpose, with purpose. Let me see, clothing. So store, warehouse, store. Okay, so most of your questions, or most of your comments, are related to the layout of the city, I believe. I mean, all your buildings are missing furniture as well, but that's alright. Let's just assume you can put furniture in fairly easily. So let's just walk around a bit. Walk in the main city, or walk in the main door. Warehouse, shop, school, and you know, like, it's all the same materials too. Like the school and the warehouse almost looks exactly the same. Like, why? Like the forms of the buildings should reflect the function of the building. Or, to put it another way, like if you're designing buildings with the function in mind, it should make sense when you look at it, that you can tell what it does. Like schools, your supposed school is just one classroom, and schools are usually more than one classroom. Although, I don't know, let's say it's a small town, it's a really small school. Still, there would be, okay, there's a classroom. Maybe there's like a playground, or like you know, a sports field usually. Or if it's not a dedicated sports field for the school, at least there's been an open area. It might be next to a park. It might not be that close to the front gates because you don't want your children mingling with all the strangers that come in to do business in your city. So school, well, it depends on, yeah, I think the schools should be further back from the gates because, you know, they're kids. They're kids, whereas out here you have people kind of in the warehouse and moving things around. So that's a little bit odd. It's not a huge problem. What is that meant to be? Let's see, bookstore, that's good, that's alright. So the shop district at front is the bookstore as well. The small home for sale. Like, why is the ceiling that tall? There's a lot of just empty space there. Like, why is there so much empty space up there? You say it's a small home, but you can easily put another floor in there, and then it'd be a large home. Like it doesn't. I mean, from the outside, it looks like it's the same scale as the other buildings, which is what you might be trying to go for. Like the small house is twice as big as your school. Like, you see what? I mean, you see what I'm pointing out? Is that strange? And your windows up there, and then what is this? The bookstore. Your small house is twice as big as the bookstore? Shouldn't they at least be the same size? I mean, this small house is almost, in fact, it is as big as the warehouse. So it's actually a huge house. Let me just check what's back here. I'm not sure what that is. Is that like scales? Interesting. I'm not sure what that means. Alright, so let's... Okay, so shops, there's 2 exits from here. Let me just come this way. Let's see what that says. Upper class district. Okay, so this is upper class. So here we go. This... Wow, why am I lagging? That's not good. Okay, let's hope it doesn't happen too much. Alright, so this is interesting. So upper class district, there's a big open area already, so quite lavish and extravagant with the way they waste the space on the pool and some hedges. So the mayor's house looks like this. And again, like the materials though, look, bricks and cobblestone. The warehouse is bricks and cobblestone. The mayor's house is bricks and cobblestone. You see a problem there? Like, supposedly the warehouse is cheap. Supposedly the mayor's house is the richest house in town. But it's the same material. And that doesn't really make sense. Shouldn't this be fancier? Shouldn't this be at least stone bricks and maybe quartz? And I don't know if you had quartz for a very long time, but shouldn't this be substantially fancier? On the inside, I'm still lagging, that's a shame. Maybe I should stop. Anyway, on the inside there's tables and chairs, okay, that's good. And then upstairs, beds and tables and various things. And really tall ceilings. Okay, but the mayor's house is not that much bigger than the small house downstairs. Right? But okay, the mayor's house is alright. Maybe use different materials, but aside from that, it's alright. Let's just check what is here. Small home. I mean, your small homes are quite big compared to supposedly the manors. How can I mean, the relative scale of things. Maybe you should consider rooms. Maybe you should, plan out a building. Plan out the rooms of a building. I think what you're doing here is you're making the external shape, and then you're just filling the inside with stuff. So you're planning from you're designing from the outside in. I think that's what you're doing. And maybe you're not. If you're not, maybe you should kind of correct me. But I think what I'm seeing is you're building the outside of the building, and then you're filling the inside with stuff, and then that's your design. Maybe try designing from the inside out. And so designing rooms, and then fitting those rooms together. Let's see a blacksmith. Okay, there's nothing inside yet. And maybe I'll come back to that point later on. Let me just walk around a bit more. The church. Well, the church doesn't actually have any. Doesn't have a cross. It doesn't actually look like any church that I've ever seen. I don't know if you mean it as a Christian church or just a generic kind of temple, but churches also have a particular shape, and although it depends on what time period it comes from. The earliest churches are long and rectangular, so it's kind of like this except longer. And then eventually they developed into a cross shape, which is symbolic of the Christian cross, right? So that the Christian churches eventually, and then they grew taller and taller as well. They're taller because, it's an expression of, the power of the church, and also to suggest that the power of God. And so these really really tall Gothic structures, and the plan is in a cross shape. That's a church. And what we see here is not. Like, if the sign wasn't on the door, we wouldn't know it's a church at all. So again, like, just go into Google, type in church or cathedral, And then just look very carefully at the shape of the building and the proportions of the building, like how wide it is compared to how tall it is, and the shape of the windows and the shape of the roof and the plan and everything, and just look at it and just try to figure out how it all works. And then maybe if you're really interested, just read about it. Church architecture, just type that into Google and read what people have to say, and just learn about it. And then when you come back, you can apply that knowledge, and you can build a more convincing church. Because here, I'm pretty sure that if you just kind of show people that and don't tell them it's a church, and ask them to guess what that is, nobody's gonna guess a church, because it doesn't look like a church. And again, I'm assuming that you are talking about a Christian church. If you're not, then maybe look up different religions, different, religious buildings from other religions. Like if a mosque, again, is a particular shape, like they're usually square, there's towers in the corners, and then there's a big dome in the middle, that's usually a mosque. Or a synagogue is different again, or, like a Buddhist temple is different again. And so, but they're all distinctive shapes. And the thing about it is, if you show people a picture of one of them, usually they'll look at it and they know what it is. Whereas here, you look at it, you don't know what it is. And what that means is you don't know what it is about a church that makes a church a church. And that's maybe something you need to do research on. Research this. I know it seems like homework. And if you're really not interested, then don't bother. But if you are interested, then I think, just it'll be interesting for you if you're interested. That's it'll be interesting for you if you're interested. It's true. A quaint home. See, in the quaint home, you use these fences in the ceiling, and then there's more paintings in the middle, and then there's this room. I don't know what this room is meant to be, but your quaint room is more decorative than your mayor's mansion. You see that? Maybe you built one after the other. Maybe you built the mayor's house first, and you built the quaint home second, and so you're experimenting more with this quaint home. But your quaint home looks fancier than your mayor's mansion. And then this is regional hotel. Alright, so there's a library. There's only one bed room in the hotel. It's not much of a hotel if only 2 beds are in it. Are you sure this is a hotel and not something else? Needs more rooms. Wait a minute, is it upstairs? Is it an upstairs or not? There is an upstairs. How do you get upstairs? You can't get upstairs? There's stuff upstairs. How do you get up here? Wait a minute. There's stuff upstairs, but you can't get upstairs. Okay, well, there's more rooms up here, or there's more beds at least. But you need stairs. Alright, let's walk around. I like that you've divided it into districts, right? You've got the market area or the commerce area. This is the upper. Why is the farm in the rich people's district? I mean, there's the issue of scale. Usually farms are much bigger than this, although in Minecraft it doesn't really matter, right? But usually poor people do the farming, not the rich people. The rich people usually just hang around and waste time. Usually the poor people are made to do the manual work. Alright, so down here we have medium-sized house, but your medium-sized house is smaller than your small house. I mean, if you okay, I don't know what else to say about that. Your medium-sized house is smaller than your small house. Maybe you need to change your small house into something else, because at the moment that doesn't really make a lot of sense. And what's all this decorative stuff? This is the small house, isn't it? It's interesting fencing. Oh, I see. You've put fencing around the walls, and then that just happens to be where the house is, so it does that. Okay, I see. Interesting effect, though. Alright, so the other side of town is Docks Lower Class District. I'm not sure why it's a golden door to the poor part of town, but okay. Lighthouse. And what is this? This is the TNT. Is this the docks? No, those are the docks. The river really isn't the correct scale though, is it? I mean, ships are... And that's not your fault, it's Minecraft scale. Like, Minecraft rivers are just too small anyway. But yeah, like the cargo ships would be much bigger than this. Yeah, that's... I don't know, that's difficult. Unless you just terraform the whole thing and make a massive river, then it's never gonna make sense. Lighthouse? Okay. Again, you know, do you... If you... That's a lighthouse? Where's the light? Shouldn't there be like a giant light at the top of the lighthouse? Again, just go into Google image search and type in lighthouse. Let me just do that right now. Lighthouse. Yeah, lighthouses are not like that. It's missing a light, for one, and it might need to be taller. Usually lighthouses are tall enough so they can be seen from a distance. Let's see, so there's docks here, kind of. And then, I mean, yeah, kind of, because of the scale. And here we have peasant home. But even in the peasant home, they have glowstone and glass. And cobblestone, so they don't have bricks. But bricks aren't really... You know, they're not exactly decadence, is it? Like, bricks aren't that. I mean, the only difference between the peasant home and the mansion is the lack of bricks, which... I mean, the ground is still the timber roads, or the timber paths, and the masses and masses of glowstone. What is this? Peasant home, but that's still brick, and still cobblestone, and still glowstone and glass? I mean, it's smaller, yeah, but the materials are the same. What is this? A commoner home, but he has stone bricks. Which is actually... And he's got a lot of glass. Glass is expensive. Stone bricks are actually more expensive than red bricks. I don't know... Okay, let's talk about building materials. Stone bricks, basically you have to find nice stone and cut them into bricks. Unless these are supposed to be concrete bricks. In which case it's not. But... red bricks are basically clay bricks or mud bricks. You take a bunch of clay, you pack it into a square shape, and then you bake it, and it turns into clay bricks. Like, clay bricks are cheaper than stone bricks usually, because you have to cut the stone, and cutting stone is not easy. Like, if you cut it wrong, then it all breaks apart and it shatters in. So it's not easy to cut stone, right? Whereas clay bricks are kind of cheap to make. So yeah, so this house is kind of more expensive than some of those houses, apart from the size. But you know, the proportion of glass to structure is pretty impressive. A lot of glass. And again, like, this is not stuff that you're meant to know unless you've studied some architecture, right? And basically, that's what I'm saying you should do. Not formally study architecture, but just go do some research and read about buildings and stuff, and look closely at pictures of houses. Where should I go first? Let me just go this way first. This is, wait a minute, upper class home? Why is the upper class home down at the docks? It's the same size, similar materials, and look, the shape of it too, like it's not, it's vaguely house shaped from one direction, but this is not a house really. I mean, if you look inside, you know, no real house looks like this on the inside. And so this is the thing again, like you've got an idea in your head, but you don't have enough knowledge about how a house is to build a realistic house. So you build a kind of a symbolic house, which I mean, if you're asking me for advice on how to improve things, then all I really can say at the moment is look more carefully at more houses. This is an interesting shape. You call it a home, but it's... Okay, that's an interesting shape. Now this looks like a church. It's tall, it's narrow, it's got cross shapes all along the walls. This looks like a church. A lot of glass and tall. But you call it factory manager's home. That's interesting. Why would the factory manager... Okay. And why would the factory manager be living down here? Are we still in the docks or are we in a different part of town now? A commoner home. Again, the long diagonal shape, which is unusual. I mean, you don't have any furniture in here, and I can tell already why, because once you start putting furniture in, nothing works because the space is not big enough for furniture. Commoner's home. Again, way too small. Like it's a box, but not, not something that can actually function as a house. Handle factory, and the factory is, let's see, does that actually work? Like, is that an actual circuit or is it just decoration? Can I push some buttons? I think that's just decoration. I'm assuming it's just decoration. But the factory isn't, it doesn't actually function as a factory neither. Like, where do the people work? Is it automatic, or where's the production line, or where's the workshop, where's the tables? Again, like, type in a factory interior into Google image search. I'm just going to do it right now. Factory interior. And so then that's a factory. Like, you have lots of workstations, or depends on, what time period you're from, but old school factories. A lot of workstations, a lot of people and machines. So just this, tables, machines and people. It's basically a factory. I guess later on there's production lines and all that sort of stuff, but that comes later on. Usually it's a big open space. Maybe there's a production line, but usually a lot of workstations and a lot of people working. That's a factory. I don't know if you know that, but if you don't, then you really should type in factory into Google image search and look at what factories look like on the inside. Again, I mean, you're asking me how to improve your designs, and just that, just do the research, so you know what things are like in real life, so then you can recreate them in game. Your peasant home is pretty much as fancy as your mayor's house. A lot of glowstone, a lot of glass, and then here, okay, I can see what's going on. You started building there, and then you're just building more and more stuff out here. And I can see that you're experimenting too. Like, experimenting with more materials down here. I can see the iron and wool. You're also spending less time on the actual planning of the house. Look at that, they're just rectangles. These aren't real houses, they're vaguely house shapes, is what they are. a peasant home, but it's got really interesting patterns on the walls. I mean, I like the fact that you're experimenting with patterns on the wall, but it's not coherent. So like it doesn't. Oh, there's no button on the inside to get back out again. Like I like the fact that you're experimenting with different materials and different patterns, but you're not considering what they might mean for a real building. Like these things make buildings more expensive, and so these do not belong in the commoner's home. Like, you know, I see you're using different things, but I don't see you thinking about why you're using these materials. Like, why mossy stone? And why mossy stone all the way up there? Is it supposed to be just colors? Or are you actually intending for it to be mossy cobblestone? If it's moss, usually moss grows near the water, or it grows in damp places, and water usually flows down, so near the ground is usually where stuff is damp. Usually moss doesn't outline itself around doors like that. So I mean, if it's only color, then okay. But if it's meant to be moss, then moss doesn't actually grow like that. Like, I see you experimenting and trying different things. Look, from the way you kind of talked in your message, I think you're just trying to come up with different things, because you don't want all the buildings to look the same, and so you're just kind of putting different things in for the sake of different things. But a designer has an extra step to that. When you try something different, you need to go back and look at it and ask yourself, okay, was that good or bad? So that's the crucial step in design. You don't just do stuff just for the sake of doing stuff. I mean, you have to do a lot of different stuff. Yes, you do. You have to try a lot of different things. But each time you try something different, you look at it and you say, okay, is that good or bad? In what ways is that useful? In what ways was that not useful? Because when you ask that, then you're learning. If you don't ask that, you're not learning, you're just doing stuff. But if you're learning, what that means is that future designs will be better because you've learned. And therefore you are capable of doing better things in the future. Learning is important if you are interested in improving as a designer. Commoner home, see, you're not asking those questions. You're not thinking critically. You're not saying, like, you're not stepping back and saying, okay, is this actually a commoner's home? Like, if I go back and we look at the mayor's mansion, does this look like a commoner? Like, how much richer is the mayor than the commoner? I don't know what country you're from. In some countries, it's quite egalitarian. In other countries, it's not. In other countries, the peasants really are peasants, and they live in mud houses. And the rich people are really, really rich, and they have gold toilets, solid gold toilets that they sit on and crap into, because they can, and like gold cars for no reason, because they have no taste, but they have money, and like diamond encrusted, I don't know, chairs. And then there's poor people living in mud houses with straw clothes. Like that's the real world, or it's not that. Okay, in some places that's the real world, not in most places, not usually where we live, if we have access to computers and whatnot. But then you have to, if you really want to design something convincing, I'm rambling a bit, but if you want to design something convincing, you need to be clear in your mind what the scenario is. How much richer is the mayor than the commoner, or is he richer at all? If maybe we're in some sort of communist or some sort of socialist paradise and everybody's the same, in which case they should be the same. Okay, that's great. Or if the mayor is supposed to be richer, then how much richer? Should he have diamond toilets? Maybe he should. And the commoner, if he's poor, how much poorer? Should he have a dirt house? Maybe he should. But if you're not, unless you think at that level, and then you build a dirt house for the commoner and a diamond toilet for the mayor, and unless you think at that level, then your designs are not going to convey that level of thinking. And then when somebody else looks at your designs, they can't see that the commoner is poorer than the mayor, because the commoner doesn't live in a dirt house and the mayor doesn't have a diamond toilet. I mean, those things would indicate to a person looking at your design that they're different. At the moment, I see a lot of stone bricks, glowstone and glass, and then go to the mayor's house, I see glowstone and glass and bricks and stone and wood. I see the same things. Okay, let me just continue. A peasant home with nice paving on the floor. Again, you know, it's just when I look at this, I don't see a peasant home. I just see the same kind of house. Look, this is not a home. You can't live in a 1 block wide gap. Okay, so this is... I mean, I see what you mean when you say you're running out of designs and can't think of any new ones. No, but you're not designing, you're kind of just making shapes. And there's a difference between designing and making shapes. Designing means you're thinking about what you're doing. You know, if you're designing a house, you're thinking about how this functions as a house. The fact that there's no furniture and there's no rooms indicates that you're not designing a house, you're making a rectangular shape with materials, which is a different thing. What is that? District of Commerce. It's just a commercial district, although again it looks exactly the same as before. Like, you've built a lot of stuff, but it all looks the same, and you can't... Okay, there's the sandstone, and then there's the wood. Law House Court. But you just made a rectangle. You haven't actually found out what a courthouse, or how a courthouse functions. Like, what? Okay, a courthouse, how does it function? A courthouse, you have a court, you know, where there's the judge, and then there's the accused, and then there's the witnesses, and the jury, and the lawyers and whatnot. Okay, there's that. There's the courtroom, which you can type into... Okay, I'm going to type it in. Google, I'm going to type in courtroom. If it will load and not crash, thank you. Courtroom. And then go into image search. Alright, so you can get images of a courtroom, right? And you can copy one of those. But what else? A courthouse is more than just a courtroom. You need holding cells for the accused. So you need kind of cells and then police. And you have administrative officers, right? And then you have reception area where the public can come in and deal with the court. What else do you have? I mean, you have the judge's office, at least. And you might have archives, so, you know, a room where the documents are stored. And you have other things, you have toilets, and of course, and you know, you might have maybe you have a sort of a canteen for food, maybe. But you know, like, a courthouse has all these functions that it has to serve, and you haven't considered any of that. You've made a box. The box is rectangular, and you put a sign in front saying law house, a court, work in progress. Yeah, it's a work in progress, but you're working about it in the wrong way. You started with a box, and you're never going to fit a courthouse into there, because you can't. Instead of starting with the functions you need, and then dividing or deriving the shapes from that. Like, you're not working as an architectural designer, you're working as someone who's making boxes. And then fitting things into boxes, or you're not... I don't think you can fit very much into boxes. Again, sheriff's office, this is not a sheriff's office. You can't fit anything that needs to go into sheriff's office into a box like this. I mean, you're thinking of a sheriff's office, and it's good, your city needs a sheriff's office. But to design a sheriff's office, you need to do something that's not this. Okay, let me just look at the last few buildings. Guardhouse Fortress, look at that last. Regulation offices. Again, there's no offices. Jailhouse, there's no cells. Yeah, you call it work in progress, but you're never gonna make this into a jailhouse. Like, there's no... you can't. What, there's gonna be like one cell and then one guard? Is that it? Because that's all you can fit in here. Meeting house, public meeting house. Type in town hall into Google image search. Town hall interior. Yeah. Okay, a hall, seating. It's a big room seating basically. That's a town hall interior. This is kind of too small. Embassy. This is kind of believable. This is big enough to be an embassy. Okay. So if you tell me this is an embassy work in progress, I can believe this one, because it's actually kind of big enough to be a small embassy. But it's still just a box. You haven't actually designed any of the interior stuff. I think we've been there before. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at is the guardhouse. Let's see what we've got here. So we come in the middle. There's a room on one side, there's a room on the other side. We come up. Right, and then there's castle walls up here. Okay, this can be a guardhouse. You need barracks, you need like a mess hall, you need an armory and stuff like that to go into a guardhouse. But it's, I mean, it's kind of big enough to be a small guardhouse. Okay. Right, so that's the town. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Let me just... At the moment, what you're doing is... Let me just grab some colors. What you're doing is... You're making rectangles, and then you're calling them things. That's not how buildings are designed. Alright, let's say we need a house. Let's say we need a peasant house. Does it really... Oh my god. Let's just say we need a poor man's house. And he is really, really poor. He lives in a shack. So it's only one room, and it's him. He can't afford anything bigger. So it's one room, shack. And he's got a bed, he's got a stove, he's got a chest. And he can't afford very much glass, so he has like one small window, one door. Okay? So, let me just grab some furniture so it's easier to see. So, a bed, a chest, and like a... I don't know, not... Wait a minute, what's this? A trap? No, not a trap. A chest and... Okay. Designed from the inside out. Here's a bed. Here's a chest beside the bed, and then he has a, you know, small kitchen, and then maybe he has like a table. Let me just wood, and let me just no, let me just get the others. Where's the other? No, there's the other stairs. All right, so he's got a bed, a chest, small kitchen, and like a table. So that's his house. We're starting from the inside out. It's only one room, we're keeping it simple. So we put walls around this. And a door here. Alright, so got that. How tall should the house be? If it's only 2 blocks tall, it's kind of... No, that's fine. So he's really poor, so he can't even afford any seating room. So then his house is only this big. Or maybe you know, let's give him a sloped roof. Maybe this is a bit too mean. Give him a sloped roof. So the roof slopes up a little bit, and I know we can't really do slopes in Minecraft, unfortunately, but it overhangs a little bit. So it's not too terrible of a house, but it's just a single slope. So just imagine if this is a slope and not two flat bits. I don't know why his roof is light blue, but I like light blue, so that's his house. And he needs some lighting inside. Let's do that. He needs like one light. Actually, no, I want... That's better, on the inside. Let's do that instead. Okay, and then he has like one light. So this is a poor man's shack. Hey, does he have windows? Maybe he has like one window. This is a poor man's shack. You walk in here, he's got a bed, he's got a table, a small kitchen, that's it. I mean, we still end up with a rectangle, but we started from the inside out. And what that means is, we know we have enough space in here for all the things that we wanted to put in here, because we put those things in first before we put the walls in. Which is kind of, you know, not completely realistic, but it's kind of what you should do to understand how much space you need for your buildings. Now should we try something a little bit more difficult? Okay, and this might be a lot difficult actually. All right, let's try a small family house, 3 bedrooms. So we want a kitchen, a lounge, a bathroom, 3 bedrooms, and no, that's it. Let's keep it simple. So again, we're gonna start from the inside out. Now, what should we do first? What's the most important part of a house? The most important part of a house usually is like the kitchen and lounge. They kind of have to work, and we are so we're working and we're gonna keep it easy. We're gonna make it so that we're working with this rectangular piece of land, so nothing too difficult here. Okay, let's pretend the front door is there. That's where the street is. So the front door is here. Kitchen and lounge. So from the front door you might have a small lobby area. Let me just mark some of this stuff out. So the front door, let's say, is there. Let's front door, let's say, is there. So now I'm drawing the walls in, and I'm only drawing things that really need to be there. Let's say a lounge. A dining room table, or a lounge, or both. Do we want a lounge and a dining room, or just the dining room? Just the dining room. They can't really afford a lounge. There's no TV because they're too poor to have a TV. There's let's think about this. There's 4 people living in this house. Okay, so I can put the torches in later. Alright, so the dining room table. They don't have a lounge, so they have a table, right? And then let's say they have a kitchen here. So let's say there's like a kitchen bench. Oh crap, I want it upside down. Kitchen bench. Okay, and then on the other side of the kitchen bench we're gonna have a small kitchen, which involves, you know, and then like where's my stuff? No. Where's my... Okay, so then there's, you know, small kitchen and fridge. Although there's no fridges in Minecraft. Okay, there's a kitchen. There's a dining. There's the kitchen. And I guess that means there's gonna be like a hallway here. Maybe there can be some storage. Or how big the hallway should... I don't know how big the hallway should be. Alright, let's say on the other side of the kitchen, and we need like a wall here. Okay, so the walls are gonna... Let me just put the walls in here. So that's the walls. We've decided that's gonna be the dining and kitchen. And then next to that is the bathroom, which I don't... how should we make the bath? How should we make the bath? Let's use yellow? Let's use yellow. I don't really want to spend too much time building a bath, so let's say the bath is like there, maybe like there, and then, you know, maybe it's where's the cauldron? I always find it amusing to have a cauldron as a toilet. Where is this stuff? The cauldron's not in there, is it? No, no. Tools? Is it a tool? It's not a tool. Is it brewing? Why on earth is it in brewing? Okay, so it's in brewing. Let's do that. So let's just say, you know, the bathroom is kind of like that. I know it's not missing some amenities, but let's say. And to be honest, this is Minecraft scale. Like in the real world, the bathroom, maybe this is too big. That's probably too big for a bathroom. Okay, let's just pretend that's your bathroom. And then back here, we need 3 bedrooms. I don't think we can actually fit that in unless let me just demolish this. Alright, so back here we have 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. Let's just stick with 3 bedrooms. So the hallway, please don't lag, come on, don't lag. Alright, let's say we have how big does the bedroom need to be? Let's just say, let's make this like small. The bedroom is a bed and a chest, and then let's make it really small. Usually bedrooms are bigger than toilets though, so let's just make it a little bit bigger than a toilet. So let's say, you know, you have like a bedroom, and so that's like 2 bedrooms for the kids, right? So it's like there and there, and then here let's have a slightly bigger master bedroom. And the master bedroom can have a double bed, I guess. Right, so then there's that, and then what I think we'll do is make the hallway there, the kitchen there. This hallway is really narrow. Hallway there, and what if we give ourselves a bigger entrance so that we're not too cramped, like that. So that's the front door. Kitchen, dining, hallway, bathroom, 3 bedrooms. Alright, so now we want to put in the doors, which I guess, let's see, so that's like the front door. We should probably have nice big windows here. How big? give these people some nice big windows there. 3 meter floor to ceiling? Sure. Although, yeah, it's a bit odd, isn't it? Okay, 3 meter. See, now that's like 4 meter floor to ceiling. It's like completely, scale's completely wrong. Yeah, 3 meter floor to ceiling, but that means that we don't have that much space for the windows. That's your windows? No, that's your window. Okay, that's good. There, can we have a window there? Nope, let's not do that. We might have windows along the hallway. Although that's I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Let's do that. There's a window there. And then here we'll have, you know, nice windows in the dining room. And then so the kitchen is here, like a big window for the dining room and the kitchens. Maybe that's a bit too big. Let's close that off a little bit. There's windows there and there, and big windows in the kitchen as well. It's always nice to have nice windows in the kitchen. And then, so that's a door. That's supposed to be a fridge. There, that's a fridge. And then, nope. And then here we have, I'm using wool. I'm not really supposed to be using wool. This is a, I mean, if you want a different color, then use a different color. Use whatever materials you think is appropriate. So wool is not really the appropriate material, but I'm just using that for now because I'm not thinking about materials just yet. So a window there, not at the head of the bed, because that's a bit strange, having a window right above your head when you're sleeping. But there's that there, and then there's the doorway here, and the 2 bedrooms are pretty much the same. And this side he can have a window here, but he won't. Let's just do that. And then here we have the door to the master bedroom, and then the master bedroom can have, so that's like a closet. We don't have closets in Minecraft. Should they have more windows? Let me just fill in the edge and then decide how much windows they should have. Maybe they shouldn't have that many windows. Let's just give them a window there. Okay, that's decent. Alright, now what do we want? We want torches. Maybe glowstone, since you use so much glowstone. Let's get a bit of glowstone. Fence blocks, just in case we need fences. Whoa, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that neither. I want glass panes. Glass panes. The roof, let's give them a timber roof. Oh, I've got stairs already. Just in case we want multicolored roof. What else? Doors, that's right, doors. Where are the doors? Doors are here. What else? Let's do that for now. Okay, so the glass goes there. Let's put in all the glass. And so this is just a simple 3-bedroom house, which is not that fancy. I mean, compared to some of the things that you've named, like mansions and courthouses and whatnot, this is quite simple in comparison. So imagine if you try to do the same thing with those. First you need to do the research to know, you know, what goes into a courthouse, what goes into a, you know, those other things. And then you have to go through all of this. designing it, which is not easy. Let me just put that there, and that goes there, and in fact it might be better off on the inside. Oops. Let's do that, and let's do that, and that. Okay, there's the doors on the inside. Although they're strange doors because they have the little windows in them. I mean, you wouldn't want... Why am I lagging? You wouldn't want a door with little windows in them in the bathroom, because then you just look into the guy in the toilet, which is a bit strange. Alright, so now here's the part where we put on the roof. Okay. Now, how should we... Let me... No, upside... No, don't do that. No, let's... I wonder if that's a good idea or not. No, that's fine actually. So we start with that. There, and we're just gonna come all the way across. Is that a good idea? No. No, let's make it slightly more complicated than that. Alright, so there's that there. Let's do that. Okay, this you might have more trouble with. Go into Google image search and go house roof. Interesting. Yeah, look, even that, just look at the roofs. And there's all sorts of different roofs that you can have. Google image search really is your friend, because like if you don't know anything, just type it in and it'll show you pictures. And then you can just copy stuff. It's great. Just copy stuff, it's great. Alright, so I know how roofs work, so I'm just gonna do this. But you might want to go into Google image search and figure this out properly. Let's keep this simple and do that. Although if I do that, no, that's fine. That's fine. And then the other side is all straight. Please stop lagging. The other side is straight, so we're just gonna come straight across there. And we're gonna keep it simple. The roof is gonna be 45 degrees because the stairs are pretty much 45 degrees. So we're gonna make it easy for ourselves and do that. Alright, I do need wood blocks. Let me just grab that. I'm not gonna make it multicolored. Oh, I chose the wrong one. I'm not gonna make it multicolored. Alright, so there's that. And then the next one, it's gonna come straight across. And the inside, I mean, it depends what you want to do. You can have like a... Either you can have it hollow under the roof, which is actually not usual. Maybe I just fill the whole roof in. It's not as space efficient, though. Actually, I'll think about that afterwards. Let me just make the roof hollow for now, and then we look at it from the inside and see what we want to do about it later on. Alright, so we've got this bit, and maybe I should pause the recording. It really is lagging a lot. Okay, let's keep going through here. Right, and then we're gonna do the next layer. Right, and before we get much further, we want to go back to the other side and make sure the other side is right, because the other side is not the same. Like, it's not just one line going up. There's the three parts here. So on the other side we're going to come this way, and we're going to go like this and that, and then here we're going to go up, and then we're going to go up one more. So we're going to do the two sides simultaneously, just so they match up in the middle. Hopefully they match up in the middle. They might not. That would be really embarrassing if they did not match up in the middle. Alright, so there's that there. This roof is way too big. I can tell already. But we'll stick with it for now. Let's see what it looks like. Wrong side. And I guess that means we should do that also. Yeah, the 45 degrees is probably not a good idea. It's too steep. Yeah, 45 is too steep. It can be shallower. If you want to make it shallower, I guess you can use the slabs instead of the stairs. Make it like half as steep. That's probably a better idea. Please, come on, stop. This fails. Minecraft. Let me just pause the recording. Alright, so I just kept building up the roofs on the two sides until they matched up like that. And as you can see, it's kind of different heights because there's different widths down here, right? The roof is way too big. I mean, if you look at that. Although actually no, it's not. It's not. The roof is all right. Okay, so never mind what I just said. The roof is all right. Let me just fill up the wall here, because that's kind of how it's meant to be there and there. We're still lagging. Didn't really help stopping the recording, but never mind. So there's that there. This part, maybe we should leave that open. I know I closed it off before. What to do about that? Actually, yeah, roofs. So roofs are complicated. Let me just say that. Especially when you have different shapes like this, and you put the roof over it, and then you have to fill the roof in and have it overlap properly and everything else. So what if here we have... is that suitable? That's not really right, is it? I mean, I feel like it should be like that. There. That's not really right, is it? Okay, let me just... Wow, this lag is really, really annoying. Let me just get rid of that again. Yeah, let's just fill this in. Let's just fill that in. It's not really correct, but let's not worry about that too much. Wow, this is terrible. The lag, I mean, not the building. The building looks fine. Alright, so let's do that and go back inside. Maybe this here. Okay, let me just fill that there, put that there, put that there, put that there. Aha! So now we have a bit of an entrance to the house, which is good. And then we have like some light at the entryway to the house. That's nice. Maybe the entryway can stick out a little bit more. Let me just try that. There, and you know, like that. there. And upside down stairs are always fun. And lag is never fun. Oh, that's nice. Nice entrance there. Okay, so let's go inside. So in here, this stuff... Alright, so let's close off the roof. In there, at least. And I think I'll just extend everything up to the ceiling. Oh, actually, no, down here we can... You know, fill that. So that's between the kitchen and the dining. And then here we have that closed off, that's closed off. I don't know why my computer decides to run the hard drive like this while I'm playing Minecraft. It's really, really annoying. So there's that there. Let's just keep the doors open because you don't need them closed really. Alright, so the walls go up to the ceiling like that there. This lag is terrible. Maybe I should stop for a moment. You know, I really hate stopping for lag because you shouldn't have to. But Minecraft, you know? Minecraft. Okay, so that's that there. I wonder about that though, because it seems like this is unbearable. Alright, I think my computer has finally nope, still lagging, never mind. Anyway, I'm not gonna wow, this is so bad, the lag. Are we done? Are we... Nope. Yeah, nope. Nope. Almost. Alright. So I'm not going to spend too much more time on this because, you know, the point isn't to make the roof look pretty, but let me just... So don't worry about the lights. The lights aren't very... You know, it's not very well placed. I'm just gonna put some stuff in for the sake of having a light. So this can be better, but never mind, right? Okay, so there's that, and that is basically me designing a house from the inside out. Now the roof could be better. I'm looking at it now. The roof can be better, but Now look at this. From the outside, it looks kind of like what you have, right? If you look at that, there's the rectangle and then there's a roof. I mean, I have a rectangle and a roof. From the outside, it looks like what you've done. But if you go look on the inside, I have an actual house. I have an actual house with rooms that are believable, whereas you don't. You have, you know, I have an actual house here, whereas your houses, they're nothing. They're just boxes with nothing inside them, and a lot of them can't actually be made into houses because they're just the wrong shape. You know, they're just. This lag is not cool. Like, no matter what you do with this, you can't make this a house. You can put a bed at one end and a bed at the other end. It's not a house. So, yeah. So now you do it. So now that you've seen me design a house from the inside out, you try that and see how you go. Now this is a very simple thing, and it took me quite a while. It's a relatively simple house. It's like 3 simple bedrooms, 1 dining room, 1 kitchen, 1 bathroom. Compared to some of the other things you've named in your city, this is very simple. But for all of the things... So this is, if you want to get better at designing, try that. So if you want a school, for example, how many classrooms do you want in a school, first of all? How many classrooms? What else? Classrooms, you have the principal's office, maybe you have a secretary's office, maybe you have an assembly hall, maybe you have a gymnasium, you have sports fields, and toilets, maybe cafeteria. So that's a school, right? A courthouse I've already talked about. What else do you have? A warehouse really is just a big room. A lighthouse, you need to look it up. It's a tower with a light on top. You're missing a light at the top of your lighthouse. What other buildings do we have? Shops. I mean, shops. You have at the front door. You have the shelves, and then you have the counter, and then maybe you have an office and storage at the back of the shop. Maybe. What else have you named? The hotel. A hotel, you have the hotel reception. You have storage for like the linens and and the cleaning supplies and whatnot. So like a broom closet. You may have a cafe, and then you have a lot of rooms. You might have like a swimming pool and a small gym. But a hotel usually is just a lot of rooms, mostly. But you don't want to miss out on the other stuff as well. What other things? A church. A church, you have, the nave, you have the transept, you have the choir, you have the pulpit, you have the altar, you have the giant crosses, you have the towers and the spires, the bell towers, where the church bells are. You might have a crypt or a graveyard behind the church. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that goes into buildings that you really need to learn about if you want to make buildings that are convincing. So, okay, I'm going to end here. I think this has been a pretty long video already. So I've shown you how to build something from the inside out. It's not easy, and I'm telling you just to get some practice in. So I mean that house, and seriously, like from the air, like it doesn't look that different, from your building. But that's the point, Most people when they look at a house, they look at the outside, and they look at it as that's pretty simple. I can do that, and then you do that, but it's not a house. So what's the problem? The problem is you haven't considered the inside. That's the problem. And the way I'm trying to tell you to get over that is to build it from the inside, and then it'll make sense. And then at the end of it, you end up with a house that looks pretty much the same as yours from the outside, but then it actually makes sense on the inside, and that's important. Okay, I'm gonna end it here, and hopefully that helps. I feel like I'm giving you a lot of work, a lot of homework. I feel like a teacher and you're a student, and you maybe you didn't sign up to be a student. Maybe you did. Maybe if you did, then that's good. That's nice. If you didn't, if you don't think this is fun, then just ignore everything I say. Like do what's fun for you. Do what you enjoy. But I'm of the opinion that learning is fun and getting better at doing things is fun. So I hope you find this enjoyable to try this method out, and I hope that it leads to more success. Okay, I'll stop. This is SCKChui's Minecraft Design School. You send me your questions and your save file or your server IP address, and I will give you architecture design advice and feedback. See the video description for more details. Seriously, you should read the description before you send me anything. Thank you.